showing you how to do your basic oil change on my '07 Trailblazer SS, and also how to reset the oil life monitor. If you're looking to do an oil change on your own vehicle, it's not a Trailblazer SS, don't worry, this is pretty basic information and it's pretty universal. So, number one, you're going to want to know what type of oil you need. In my case, I use 5W30 full synthetic, and you want to know how much oil your engine takes. So mine takes 6 quarts. I usually buy a 5-quart jug and then a quart of heavy duty oil stabilizer, usually Lucas or Hyperlube. And then you want to know what type of filter you need for your specific model. So once that's out the way, guys, you'll need an oil drain pan, your basic toolkit, a oil filter wrench, and a jack, a couple jack stands, and it's always nice to have a wheel chock just to be on the safe side. So you'll throw your wheel chock behind the back tire, set your parking brake, jack your car up, set your jack stands where you're comfortable climbing under the car and you're not feeling like you're claustrophobic. Set it down on the jack stands, pull your jack out, get your oil drain pan under there, and you break loose your oil drain plug and let your oil drain out in your oil pan. And once that's done, put your drain plug back in, and then you'll remove your oil filter. Let that drip, clean the surface, put your new one on, and then fill the system. So let's jump right in, guys, and hopefully this isn't too boring for you. Most people know how to do this, but in some cases they don't, and I'm just trying to help the ones that don't. Alright guys, now that I've got the car jacked up, I just want to point out a couple things. Never jack your car up by the oil pan. Always use a K-member or your frame or your subframe underneath the driver and passenger door. Or you can use your control arm on front wheel drive cars. A lot of times they're not going to have this K-member set up or anything, or subframe. So you don't want to jack your car up from anything that's going to be thin and distort from the weight of the vehicle. And definitely, again, never use your oil pan, because you can smash your oil pan up so that your oil pickup tube can no longer pick up oil and you'll starve your engine of oil. So that being said, guys, as you can see, my oil filter is kind of tight up in there and it's difficult to get in there. I can't just get my hand in there, so I've got an oil filter wrench for that. And then my oil drain plug is right here, and that is a 15 millimeter. Usually varies, it's usually between 13 and 16 millimeters. Mine gets tightened to 19 foot-pounds. Don't worry if you don't have a torque wrench to set that. Just don't wrench it on there so tight that you'll never get it off again. Your grandma should be able to break that loose, because all that is a sandwich seal that keeps oil from coming out of your motor. Alright, now that that's done dripping, I've cleaned my oil drain plug up real good. A little compressed air and a rag. You don't really want to use solvents on this because this is a rubber seal and it could distort and it might not seal properly. But we're going to wipe down the surface on the oil pan where this mates to, make sure it's clean of debris, and we'll get it tightened back down and remove our oil filter. And I'm just going to snug this down for now. I'll actually torque it momentarily, but for now I just want to get it snug and get my oil filter off. And most oil filters come off counterclockwise. Break it loose with the oil filter wrench, and then I should be able to get my hand in there to get it out the rest of the way, and hopefully I don't make too much of a mess. And we'll let that drip for a little bit, and then we'll clean it up, and I'll show you how to put the new one in. Alright guys, now that we've got our oil filter surface cleaned, we're going to go ahead and pre-fill our oil filter. That way it's not running too long without oil in the system, and it won't take so long for it to prime. Some engines like the Mustangs and the Civics have, the oil filters are actually mounted sideways, so you can't really do this. But with this one being a hanging filter, we're going to go ahead and pre-fill it. And then once you have your oil filter filled, just take a little bit of that oil, rub it around your filter gasket. Just kind of lubricate that up a little bit. And then go ahead and put your filter back on by hand. You don't really want to use the filter wrench on that, because once it expands from the heat a few times, you'll never get that thing back off, and it'll be a pain in the butt. And I dripped a little bit of oil on my filter while I was trying to turn it to get it in there. So I can't really get a good grip on it. So got a rag. And like I said, just tighten it down by hand. You don't want to get it so tight that you're never going to get it off again. But that's good and tight. Now that we've done that, let's jump out and fill her back up. Alright, now on the SS it has this engine cover, so we'll go ahead and take that off, and that will expose our oil fill cap, which also tells you what type of oil you need for your vehicle in most cases. And I'm going to go ahead and put my oil stabilizer in and let that sit for a while, because it takes a little while for it to all come out of the bottle because it's pretty thick. Alright, now we'll go ahead and put the remainder of our 5 quarts in the engine. And we'll fire her up and reset the oil monitor, and we'll be done. Now we'll take this old jug and we'll put our used oil back in it, and we'll take it to any O'Reilly's, AutoZone, or Advanced Auto and recycle it. Alright, for the oil life monitor, you're going to turn your vehicle to the off position, turn it back to the on position, and within 5 seconds press your throttle pedal 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And that should reset your oil life monitor. Oil life reset. And now we'll start the vehicle and let it run for a little while and check our level and make sure everything's good. And it shouldn't take too long for it to build oil pressure, and we're good to go. Alright guys, I've let her run for a while, got her up to operating temperature, and now she's been sitting for a bit and all the oil's back down in the pan, so it's a good time to check my level and make sure everything's good to go. So I'm going to pull my dipstick out, give it a wipe, put it back in, all the way, pull it back out, and then on mine, I have these 3 little holes, and I'm perfect at 6 quarts. Some dipsticks have little hash marks, so if it's below those hash marks, you need to add some, and if it's above those hash marks, you got too much oil. So we are good to go. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. So hope this helped you out. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.